Welcome to Rolling Solo, where I follow the journey of Francesca, a tiefling bard, as I learn to play D&D one roll at a time. We're following Francesca di Velcere, a tiefling bard, quick with a song, even quicker with a secret. But it seems even bards aren't immune to stubborn real-world ailments, and while my voice may have needed a week's rest, the story never stopped weaving itself in the shadows. When we last saw Francesca, she'd endured a perilous fight at the South Pier, intent on rescuing a shipment of slaves. Victory tasted sharp on her tongue, yet as the captain fled into the shadows, Francesca was left with a whisper colder than steel. There are secrets buried in the Valcere name, and someone intends for her to find them. Right, straight off the bat, I'm going to apologise for my voice. It's still a little bit snotty, so a little bit bunged up, so I'm sorry if that comes across. It might not, you might not realise, but that is why I didn't have an episode last week, because I've had a really horrid cold, and yeah, my voice was gone for a little while, and then lots of coughing and sneezing and all of that. Not 100% better yet, but nearly there, probably around 90%, but I still sound a bit nasally to myself, so if I sound nasally to you, apologies, but I didn't want to miss out on another week of Francesca's adventures, so I'm back. Thank you for joining me. Last time, the battle at the South Pier reached its breaking point. Francesca cut through the black gloves enforcers and forced the red-cloaked captain to flee, with dissonant whispers echoing in his skull. But before he vanished into the night, he left behind words that won't stop ringing in her mind. You don't even know what they've kept from you, Valcere. Now, with the pier littered in bodies and the prisoners freed, the night is finally still. But secrets never stay buried for long. The battle is over. The air is thick with smoke and blood. The widow's smile drifts just beyond the pier, its ropes cut loose, oars thrashing as the red-cloaked captain vanishes into the mist. The last echo of his words still burns in your mind like an ember you can't put out. Around you, the freed prisoners breathe the first air of their new freedom. The tall one, the soldier who led them, meets your eyes. His cheek is split, one wrist still chained, but his voice is steady. He's gone, but they'll come back for us. They always do. We need to move. Behind him, chaos simmers. Two enforcers groan on the ground, another drags himself toward the water. Frightened villagers peek from the alleys, drawn by the noise. The scent of oil and burned rope hangs in the air. Francesca stands on the blood-slick planks, victorious but exposed. The black glove will know what happened here before dawn. The question is what to do before that happens. 1. Interrogate one of the wounded enforcers, learn what the captain meant before he escaped. 2. Help the prisoners flee, rally them quickly before the black glove retaliates. 3. Search the pier and the bodies, see what clues or evidence remain. 4. Send word to Seraphine, warn her and possibly regroup before the guild moves. What does Francesca do first in the smoky aftermath of the battle? I think that Francesca isn't going to want to linger around too much. She was reluctant to take on a job at such short notice that she didn't really know much about anyway, and then she'd end up going full throttle into this kind of confrontation, which has ended up with secrets revealed about her family, or hints of secrets, and the knowledge that someone out there knows her double life, her secret identity. So yeah, she's not going to want to linger. I think it would be silly not to have a quick loot of the corpses. That's what I always do when I play games like Baldur's Gate and stuff. Always got to loot everything. So she'll have a quick little look in the bodies nearby her or the unconscious people nearby her. But then she's going to get out there. Her mission was to rescue the prisoners. She's done that. Her identity has been at risk too much that night. She needs to just get out of there. You kneel among the wreckage. The boards sticky with salt and blood. The sounds of the freed prisoners fade into the distance, their footsteps, their breathless thanks, as you let instinct guide your search. The captain's crimson cloak flutters at the pier's edge, a shred torn free during his retreat. You find a black iron insignia pin, shaped like a glove clutching a dagger, the mark of the Black Glove Syndicate. Etched along its side, barely visible, are two intertwined initials, VD. A ledger page, damp with river water, half torn but legible. Shipment 47, approved by House Val. The rest is destroyed. And finally, tucked inside a bloodied pouch, a small silver card, smooth as glass, marked with a single engraved symbol. A starburst ringed by 13 glyphs. It hums faintly at your touch, warm for just a heartbeat, and then cold. It doesn't belong here. It feels ancient. The tall prisoner, the soldier, catches your glance and calls over his shoulder. "Come on, we can't stay." You pocket what you can, cloak snapping in the wind as the river mist curls closer. You turn from the pier, from the corpses, from the broken chains, and vanish into the back streets of Droslev's Gate before the bells can toll. Smoke rises behind you, freedom and danger both earned. Which direction does Francesca choose to vanish into the night? So I think at this point she's going to want to seek out somewhere safe to go, so probably she has a safe house in this district or somewhere where she can camp out. She could return to the inn where Seraphine is, but I don't feel like that's going to be the wisest thing, especially with that person that she saw in the crowd there earlier who seemed to know something about her or just seemed a bit troubling. So we're not going to do that. Instead, yeah, she's going to find a safe house. She's also, though, going to send off like an encoded message to Seraphine, just literally saying like done or, with a tick kind of type thing and a smiley face emoji, I don't know, but a way to say that, job's done. But also, thinking back to my character's backstory, she has got some contacts. So I'm looking, I think she's got someone called Whistle Corin, a gnome contact who knows a bit about artifacts and things, so they might be able to help with identifying this mysterious silver card. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to find a safe house and send off those two coded messages, letting Seraphine know job done and letting Whistle know that I want to meet up with him ASAP. So let's pop that out. Francesca slips through the alleyways of Droslev's Gate, cloak drawn tight against the river fog. Every echo sounds like a pursuit, every lantern like an eye, but at last she finds the narrow cellar door she was searching for, a forgotten safe house tucked beneath an abandoned perfumery. Inside, dust, broken shelves, a small cot, a shuttered window. It's quiet, blessedly so. She lights a single stub of candle, removes her gloves, and finally breathes. Before resting, she takes a sheet of parchment and a cipher wheel from her pack. One message to Seraphine. Done. Another to Whistle Corin. Need to meet. Urgent. The wax seals cool, marked with an untraceable flourish, the kind thieves use when they have too much to lose. Finally, she sits on the cot and turns the silver card over in her hand. It hums again, faintly, then flickers with pale light. Her eyelids grow heavy. The world tips sideways. You stand in a place without horizon. Shadows ripple underfoot, as if the floor were made of ink. Before you floats a deck of shining cards, their edges burning faintly with silver fire. A voice, neither kind nor cruel, whispers, "You have drawn the eye of fate, little bard. 3 cards will tell what has been, what is, and what waits to be." The cards hover before you blank until your hand reaches out. So last week you learned about my little spending spree, going and buying lots of new dice because I'm a dice goblin now. While I was doing that, I also bought, very excitingly, the Deck of Many Things because I saw it being used on a YouTube short clip from Critical Role on one of their campaigns, and I just thought it looked like great fun, kind of tarot card type style thing, and I couldn't resist, so I bought them, and I let my dungeon master, my AI, know and explained how they work. So they're going to be weaved in as a storytelling thing, just to add a little bit more interactivity for me, so that the dungeon master isn't making it all up, as it's not human, it is the AI. I wanted to add a bit more spontaneity, but also me doing things into it. So I'm going to be drawing from my deck of many things, which I'm just going to open up in the little box it's in. So let me have a little shuffle of my cards. Can you hear them there? A bit of ASMR for you. And I'm going to be drawing 3 cards, which I think from what it said is going to be interpreted as like the past, the present and the future, but in a symbolic way. So like if I draw a dragon, it doesn't mean I'm going to meet a dragon. It just means whatever the AI wants to interpret it to mean. So let's have a little look-sees and draw. Okay, first card. Jester. Ooh, and it's really cool looking card. It's got a jester, but it's like really macabre. It's got like skulls and things. Yeah, maybe I'll take a picture and put it on my Instagram if you want to have a look, but they're really cool. So that's the first card. Second card. Gem. Ooh, so that's the present, which I suppose kind of links in quite nicely with what I've discovered on the bodies. And then we've got void as the future. That's a bit ominous, but let me put those in and see what we come up with. The void around you ripples, and the 3 silver cards hover before your chest. They shimmer once, then turn over, one by one. The Jester. A burst of colour explodes around you. Confetti made of memories, laughter, wine, applause. The dream flickers with scenes of Francesca on stage, dazzling audiences, spinning words like spells. But between the laughter, there's an echo of mockery. Nobles clapping for her performance, never for her. A voice whispers through the lights. Your mask was your freedom and your prison. You were their jest until you learned to play the fool by choice. The jester grins, then crumbles to ash. You feel both pride and sting. You've always wielded charm as a weapon, but it's also how the world first hurt you. The gem. The ash reforms into a blinding diamond, spinning in the air. Its light fractures into dozens of reflections, each one showing you as someone different. Bard, thief, noble, fugitive, none the same, yet all true. You are cut from many faces, says the voice. Each edge gleams with possibility, but one flaw, and it all shatters. As the gem turns, you glimpse the silver card in your pocket, pulsing faintly in the waking world. The deck is watching, and perhaps testing. When you reach for the gem, it splits into 13 shards, each hovering in a circle, the faint shapes of cards on their surfaces. The void, the light suddenly dies, the air chills, you fall. Below you there's no ground, only a vast, starless abyss. A faint echo drifts upward, a melody, maybe your own voice, echoing from impossibly far below. The voice speaks one last time, hushed but intimate. Something waits to claim what you hide, Bard. A hollow that hungers for names, for legacies. When it finds you, the question will not be who you are, but what remains when the song stops. The final image before you wake. A black crown descending into the void, its jewels glimmering faintly, like tears turned to stone. You jolt upright, the candle burned low to its wick. The silver card lies beside you on the cot, cool again, but a faint smudge of soot marks its surface, shaped exactly like a smiling jester's mask. Outside, the first bells of dawn toll over Droslev's gate. What is the meaning of this dream? Roll either perception or insight to try to uncover the message behind the images. Perception, she focuses on physical detail, what she saw, heard or sensed in the dream. Insight, she searches for emotional or symbolic truth, what the dream means. Roll your d20. Let's see how clearly Francesca recalls what fate tried to whisper. I don't see huge amounts of value in going for the perception, thinking about the physical, because it's a dream, right? So let's talk more about the emotional or symbolism behind it. So I'm thinking I'm going to go for insight, which for me is a roll plus 3. Ah, brilliant. Okay, so let's roll this d20. Give it a shake first. Ooh, not bad. I thought that was going to be worse. It rolled for a while and I was scared it was going to land on 3, but then it decided to do 10. So that's 10 plus 3. Let's see what she finds out. It's not going to be amazing, but I've had much worse rolls. If you've listened to previous episodes, you know I've had some pretty terrible rolls. The candle has long since guttered out. The faintest light of dawn seeps through the boarded window, and you sit there on the cot, card in hand, trying to hold on to the pieces of the dream before it dissolves completely. You remember flashes, a jester's laugh, a gemstone splitting apart, a crown sinking into darkness. The rest is already fading, but a few threads cling stubbornly to your mind. The jester. Your past was a mask. You survived by charm and deceit, but there's a sting to it. You learned too well how to hide, even from yourself. The gem. You're fractured but whole. You can see so many versions of yourself now. Bard, thief, noble, wanderer, and you know that only one can survive what's coming, the void. Something knows your name. That crown, those whispered words, you don't think it was just a dream. Something old and hungry is watching, waiting for the right moment to reach out. When you glance at the silver card again, the faint soot smudge from the jester's mask remains. You can't shake the feeling that the deck marked you, not as its owner, but as its next story. Outside Droslev's gate stirs awake. Somewhere in the city, Whistle Corin will have received your message. The question is whether to meet him now, before daylight gives way to consequence, or to watch and wait a little longer. What do you want Francesca to do? Good question. What do I want her to do? I think let's go, because before I personally, this is getting like into my personal life now, I always get up and go, like in the weekend I need to do shopping or whatever. I'm not someone that lays around in bed or stays around the house till 10. I am up at 6. I'm out when the shop's open before it gets busy. Let's go. So I think she needs to get out before people are out. She's risked her identity a few times recently. Let's go, hood up, go and see Whistle Corin, then head back to the inn, I feel, because she needs to show off her persona of the bard at the inn where she performed the night before, to make sure that she's kind of staying true to that, oh look, I'm just a travelling bard, look at me, I'm innocent. So yeah, I've ended up on a bit of a spiral there, but that's what we're going to do. The streets of Droslev's Gate is grey and slick with early mist. The air smells of coal smoke and wet stone. You move quietly through narrow lanes, hood drawn low, every step echoing softly on the cobbles. The few souls awake at this hour, fishmongers, lamplighters, street sweepers, don't look twice. Whistle Corin's workshop is hidden beneath a shuttered watchmaker's shop in the Copper Lane district, a labyrinth of old pipes and gears that hum faintly even when the city sleeps. You slip down the back stair, knock once, twice, pause, then a third time, his code. A moment later you hear the scratch of a latch. The door opens a crack, revealing a narrow sliver of Whistle's wide eyes, magnified by thick lenses. "Saints below, Francesca! I was just thinking about sending words. You're alive!" He ushers you inside, fussing in that anxious way only he can. The little gnome's workshop is a chaos of springs, cogs, and half-dismantled locks. He pulls a stool over for you, still peering toward the door. "So, what'd you find? Your note was vague, even for you." You set the silver card on his workbench. The faint reflection of the candlelight dances across it like liquid metal. Whistle freezes, eyes going wide behind his goggles. "Where in the 9 hells did you get this?" His voice has changed, lower, reverent, and just a little afraid. He adjusts a magnifier lens, studying the etched starburst and the ring of 13 glyphs. I've seen a sketch of this before. Old. Dangerous. Not guild work. Not even arcane registry. This might predate recorded magic. Where exactly did you... He stops mid-sentence. A faint knock echoes above, 3 sharp taps on the metal grate that separates the workshop from the alley. Whistle's face drains of colour. That's not one of my contacts. The knock comes again, louder. What does Francesca do as the knocking grows sharper? You know what, I think Francesca's prepared for this. So she's going to take off her cloak, revealing her bard's outfit underneath, because although she did, put on her stealth cloak and mask and everything the night before, and she didn't return to the inn where her rest of her clothes was, underneath she will have had the corset and everything that she would have worn for the performance. So she's going to take the cloak off, she's going to kind of redo her hair really quickly in that effortless way that people with long hair do, that I don't know how that works because I have very short hair. But anyway, she puts it into like a half up, half down, bard-esque, fancy hairdo. She places the card quickly inside her corset. I'm a big fan for hiding my phone and credit cards and things inside my bra, so yeah, she's going to hide it in her corset. And she removes from there an antique pocket watch, which stutters in its ticking, so clearly not working properly. Puts that on the table so she can pretend that that's why she's there, to see Corin, to get him to fix the watch. So she then will gesture for Whistle to open the grates, because she's confident in this. This is what she's done. She has this double life, and yes, that captain knows who she is, but up until then, no one's seen through this. She's confident in her ability to put on a performance. So let's see what happens. Whistle's trembling hand hovers near the latch, but your calm stills him. In one fluid motion, you shrug off your cloak, silk and shadow giving way to the radiant performer beneath. Gold-threaded cuffs catch the candlelight as you sweep your hair up, pinning it half back with a deliberate flick. The antique pocket watch ticks unevenly in your palm, a stuttering rhythm, like a heartbeat faltering before a song's final note. You tuck the silver card safely against your corset, where it thrums once, faintly warm. "Open it," you whisper. "We'll let them see what they expect." Whistle gulps, nods, and unlatches the gate. It creaks open with a long metallic groan, the mist from the alley curling in. Standing there are 2 figures cloaked in grey, faces hidden beneath hooded cowls. Between them, a third. The red-cloaked captain, alive, bruised, and leaning heavily on a cane. The crimson cloak is gone, replaced by plain grey, but the rune-etched sword hangs at his hip, humming faintly even now. He smiles, lips cracked with dried blood. "You should have finished the job, Lady Valcere." Then his eyes flick briefly towards Whistle, and the workshop's only candle snuffs out. Darkness. The sound of steel leaving its sheath. In the black silence of Copper Lane, Francesca hears the faint tick of her broken watch, and wonders if, this time, the song might stop for good. The shadows grow deeper, the choices sharper, and sometimes the only path forward is the one we walk rolling solo.